G'day, and welcome to episode 72 of the Guy Who Sews podcast. My name is Sean, and this is my weekly podcast where I share my quilting adventures. I'd like to welcome both new and returning viewers to the podcast, but if you are new, I'd love it if you say hi in the comments so we all know we have a new friend. Come see what I've been working on, what I've completed, and what's coming up in the pipeline soon. But let's go ahead and get started with my works in progress. Last week I got a bunch done. This week, not quite as much, but I'm still happy with what I got done. And I want to show you what I've been doing in the week. I've been showing you my Express Yourself quilt, and last week I showed you the 20 blocks all put together, and now I'm working on putting the borders on it. I'm putting an interior border of just black, and then I'm using some of the scraps from what I had to cut each of the blocks and using that, so that way there's no waste or very little waste. And I think this turned out pretty well so far. I've only done this top row. Everything's cut out. I just have to sew it on, and I ran out of time. So hopefully next week you'll come back and be able to see it on the sides and the bottom as well. Some days I just want to come home and do something mindless and easy and that sort of thing. And last year I did this scrappy diamond quilt. I loved it dearly. It was such a fun project. Don't look that I haven't quilted it yet. We'll talk about that later on. But I really miss doing this quilt. And I didn't necessarily want to do the exact same pattern again. So I figured why not look for another pattern where, because I still have all of these 2.5-inch squares, which I like to call donut holes. So I went out and looked for a new pattern, and I found one that I really like, and I did a little bit of progress on it. And I'm going to call this City Avenues. And you'll see more why I'm calling it that once I get more progress done on this. But it's the same sort of thing. It's just 2.5-inch squares, and then these are 8.5 by 2.5 strips of white. So it's going to give me a chance to use some more of my scraps, and it gives me a nice mindless project for when I just want to sew but not really put much thought into it. So that's what I have for my works in progress. We still have plenty more to show you in the podcast, so don't run away. And now let's move on to our week in review. And if you're new to the channel, this is the series of clips that I've put together, mostly of me sewing, but also add some of our doggos and any events we get up to, so I hope you enjoy. Today is the second Sunday in May, so that means in the US and many other countries around the world, it is Mother's Day. So I'd like to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, whether you are a biological mother, an adopted mother, or just someone that mentors young ones in some way. You're all valued. I want you to enjoy this day, and just know from me that I wish you a happy Mother's Day. It means a lot. If you still have your mother around and you're able to call her or give her a hug, please do so. I just think it's very important. But now let's move on to last week's question. I asked everybody what sort of quilted they were they stitched in a ditch or they free motion or did ruler work, and I loved hearing all the answers there. So let's now move on to this week's question, which is, what did I write down here? What sort of quilts do you draw yourself more towards? Do you prefer a traditional piece quilt? Do you prefer foundation paper piecing, English paper piecing, crumb quilting, scrap quilting, or whatever else? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. So now it's time to talk about my goals, and I have a few goals. The first one is I need to get some more work done on my t-shirt quilts. I have a few in the works that I needed to get done for some friends of mine, and I'm falling further and further behind. So I think I just really need to buckle down and get some of that stuff moving so we can actually make some progress on that. I'd like to get some more work done on the Express Yourself quilt, get some more of those borders on there. That shouldn't take too long. And then I'd also like to get some more progress done on the City Avenues quilt, which is the one I showed you just a little bit ago. So let me know what your goals are in the comments as well. I always love to hear what you guys are working on. So in case you missed it, I just had the one video come out, and it was a wonderful video. It was my live from yesterday. It was my interview with Kim Moose, who, if you don't know, is the founder and owner of Cotton Cuts. She graciously agreed to come on and join us, and we just sat there and had a good chat about how the company was founded and just how she loves quilting and everything else. It was such a wonderful experience, and if you haven't seen it, definitely go check out that. It was a lot of fun. So upcoming videos, this Saturday morning I have another special guest. It's going to be Shannon Way from the channel called Slay Art. She's a fairly new YouTuber, but she is a wonderful person. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with her for a little while, so definitely check that out Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern as usual. And then if I have time, I'd love to get some more of the Puzzle Mystery Quilt clues all sped up out to you guys as well, and they also back up as a tutorial for those that need help with that as well, so definitely be on the lookout for those videos. I just wanted to run over just some of my plans for the channel for the next few months. Last week I put out a vote on the community tab, and if you haven't seen the community tab on my channel, check it out. I sometimes put out some cool votes and that sort of thing there, just to kind of have some fun and also gather some data as well. I asked what your favorite types of videos were, and the lives were number one, and then tutorials were number two, which kind of surprised me because I didn't know if the tutorials were something that everybody enjoyed, but there was a lot of people enjoyed it. So I will hopefully get some tutorials out for you in the near future. I'd like to do some on binding and a temperature quilt and some other fun stuff, but if there's a tutorial that you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments or shoot me an email and I'll see if I can do it for you. And then I want to do some more work on my quilts. I have a lot of, as Fallon likes to call them, flimsies. I need to get some of those quilted. I love doing quilt tops, and then they just kind of sit because I hate basting. But I need to get some quilts actually completed. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to call myself the guy who pieces. But anyway, and then I've told a few people this already, but I was planning on doing a collab with Sobeka with the pandas and sweaters that was supposed to start in May, but her and I are both backed up, so we decided to postpone that to about mid-June. So we haven't forgotten about it, we haven't cancelled it, we just pushed it back a little bit so that way we can kind of both catch up a little bit and not be quite as frazzled. Our Quilt Guild, we'll be having our next meeting next Sunday evening, the 21st of May at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're pushing it back 30 minutes just to make it easier for some of our members. And if you haven't checked it out and you're interested, definitely head over to our Discord group and check it out. If you have trouble getting onto Discord, shoot me an email. I'll help you out however I can, and I'll make sure you get onto that guild meeting one way or another if you're interested. And now I'm excited to show you a completed block. Yesterday during my live, I was sewing Clue 4 of the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, and I was almost finished. Like, I was this close. And then I realized, when I was getting ready to attach the last piece, that I did the other one upside down on the wrong side. So I had to pull up my good friend Jack, and I just figured it was, it wasn't meant to be on the live, so I did it off camera, and now I'm excited to show you the completed block. This one is a lot of fun, and I have no clue how it's going to go into the final quilt, and that's part of the challenge. So here it is. And I just love how bright and colorful this is. I love this print here especially, and this one, I think it's just like D and E on this colorway. But these are just some wonderful blocks, and it's really starting to take shape with some more of the colors. So I've had a lot of fun with this, and we have 6 more clues to go, and I'm really excited already to see how the final one comes out. So that concludes today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, hit the like button, tell a friend. And I always love hearing comments from you guys. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. happy sewing. Get as much sewing as you want to in, and we'll see you all in the next video. Happy sewing.